so hot. Apologies if you can hear the fan. It's just, it's too hot. I gotta have the fan on. Let's see. Nope, that didn't do anything. That actually made it worse. Yeah, it did. Fuck off. Oh my gosh. See if I like this better. Yeah. Alright. A little live stream. I don't know how long this is gonna go for. Just felt like going live, to be honest. It's been a while since any video has come out, to be honest. I understand that. Also, it might feel like it's longer. Like, if I checked, it's probably been like a couple weeks or like 3 weeks, whatever. I'm gonna keep that pointed at me. See, you can see the fan. Yeah, it's just been kind of crazy. So the plan was obviously by this point to have more first-time listeners done and more paranormal stuff done. Basically, the last week or so of June, we got hit with a super bad heat wave. I ended up getting sick. I was sick for a couple weeks, and then my wife was sick as well. And so that just kind of messed everything up for like those two and a half, 3 weeks or so. And then what else happened? The kids were off for summer vacation, so everything was just kind of getting settled there, or at least my two younger kids were on summer vacation. And then, yeah, more construction around this complex. Honestly, like behind me right now is just a bunch of stuff. I'm not happy about it because stuff is not where I need it or want it to be right now. So, what can you do, though? Hopefully that's going to get dealt with soon. And just, yeah. It's been a stressful couple of weeks. But on the upside of things, more positively, I finally got a record player. Super excited about that. And we have a bunch of records already. So it was probably like, I don't know, 2012 or 2013. I was in like a record / CD movie store or whatever in Toronto. And they had an original pressing of Motley Crue's Shout at the Devil for like $5. Now, Motley Crue is one of my favorite bands. So I had to get it. And I knew that one day I would get a record player. Just so I could listen to that. It was also really cool to like get an original pressing of it. So the original cover of Shout at the Devil, it's just all black and then it has like a black pentagram on it. That was like after release, that was pulled and they re-released the album with just like black background and then 4 headshots of the members of the band. So to find an original release of it was super exciting. So I've had that for like 10 years roughly. And yeah, super sweet to finally be able to listen to that. But I've also found like a whole bunch of other records, and because I've like gotten into it more and everything. I got some Dean Martin. I have 3 Conway Twitty records. Super excited about that. I fucking love Conway Twitty. Like, people think it's a joke, or if they thought it was a joke at first, when I said, like, I love Conway Twitty. And, no, it's not. Like, it took me forever to finally find at least, like, 1 CD of his. And then it's like, once I found one, like, the snowball effect started. So then I just was able to find a couple of CDs from him. I got a couple records now. But yeah, so we got some Conway Twitty. Obviously the Motley Crue. I got a bunch. I'm trying to think. I got 2 Christmas. Or what? I think now I have 4. But I have an Elvis Christmas album. Bing Crosby, the Merry Christmas one. And it's got White Christmas, which is one of my nan's favorite Christmas movies. I used to watch it with her when I was a kid, so that one's special to me. As far as like other soundtracks, my lady has Footloose and Dirty Dancing, both of the Grease soundtracks, which is pretty cool because might be an unpopular opinion. Grease 2 has better songs. So, got my juice here. Strawberry lemonade. And then I picked up, it was yesterday, or no, a couple days ago. I was in a thrift store, Value Village, and I found a Dean Martin Greatest Hits, which I picked up. But then I also found a soundtrack for Phantom of the Paradise. Now, some people have no idea what that movie is, and that's okay, but you should fix that. Phantom of the Paradise, honestly, is like, in my opinion, I enjoy it more than Rocky Horror Picture Show. I still like Rocky Horror Picture Show, but I think overall, Phantom of the Paradise has a more, like, I don't know, just like better story in a way, and like more put together. And I feel like the last bit of Rocky Horror, like, kind of loses it a bit. I'm trying to think of how, like, you meet these characters and you think everything's one way, but then it turns out they're like actually aliens and stuff, and it just like, I can see why a lot of people, especially like throughout my life, I've had this conversation. There's some people that absolutely absolutely love Rocky Horror, and that's fine. I do too. But there's also quite a few people that I've talked to that, like, once it hits like that like final act, it starts to lose a lot of people. So fair enough, Rocky Horror is not for everybody, and I can understand why the like last bit starts to get a little weird for some. But either way, finding Phantom of the Paradise on vinyl for like, I think it was like $3, immediately had to get it. There we go. And then yeah, what else? We got a couple Christmas ones now. We also, so my favorite record store, it's just outside of where I live, in a little town called Thornton. That's where it is, not where I live. But it's called Dawson's Wild West Vinyl, and they have so many great records. That's where we found the Grease ones. But I was able to find 2 episodes on vinyl of the old like radio plays from the Green Hornet show that was on the radio. And like, I've brought this up more recently and stuff on my Instagram, but like, honestly, heroes like Green Hornet, the Shadow, and the Spider, kind of why I used the thumbnail for this live stream, like, those are heroes that need to be brought back, especially with how, like, you know, audiences want different stories that aren't just like Marvel or DC now. I just think, like, yeah, I don't know, we need to bring those back, and if they're done well, like, do them as a show, whether it's on Prime or HBO, whatever it is. Excuse me, don't just do a movie, just do a show. I think people want more stories that are told over the course of a few episodes now, you know what I mean? But either way, the record I got has 2 episodes from like the radio show that used to be done in like 1930s. The ones that I have, I think they originally aired in like 1939, something like that. Still getting over this cough. I feel better, but it's just like this cough in my throat, like the back of my throat, that just won't go away. But I think it's just cool to like put on a record and listen to these radio play episodes and think about it. Like, you know, before we had TV, people were gathering around like the radio at certain times to catch these shows and like these radio plays that they enjoyed, much like nowadays we do that with shows or whatever it is. And like, nowadays they're called audio dramas, but I love radio plays. So getting to sit down and like listen to these Green Hornet episodes I don't know. It's fucking awesome. Um, I don't know. I've had that experience with a few records as well. So they do at Dawson's, they do these things called like mystery box, and it's like $25 and you get like 13 records or something like that. And it's well worth it. The one mystery box we did, I think there was only two. Yeah, there was only two records that we weren't really like into. But other than that, 11 of them, super into them. And it's gotten like I've gotten to check out more bands and everything. Same thing I'm doing with like first time listener. So I have what is it? I'm trying to remember the name. It's by the band Nazareth. I think it's called Nazamataz. Something like that. Nazamaraz. Something I don't know. I can't remember quite right now. Um but yeah, like I was just sitting and listening to this album and it was just so fucking good. And it's like I probably never would have heard Nazareth other if I didn't get that mystery box, to be honest with you. And little band from Scotland, so bonus points for that. Um, Also, the Knack, the band that did My Sharona, like, so I have the album. I think it's their first album, but it has My Sharona on it. But like listening to all the other songs other than that, like they're a good band. You know what I mean? I don't know why My Sharona was the one that like took off, but like if you listen to the album, I think it's called Get the Knack. It's good. Like legitimately a great little like rock band. Um what was the other one? Oh, Jay Giles band, super good. What else we got? I got a Jimi Hendrix record in that mystery box. Yeah, just I got a bunch, and honestly, it's like there's certain ones that like I don't know. I don't like so I'm not really trying to be like the record collector where I have to have like a bunch of different like prints, like 7 different prints of the same album just because it's like a color variant of the record or whatever have you. Um, but like I don't know. I listen to all sorts of music and so does my wife. So it's like our record collection already has like a bunch of stuff. It's like we have soundtracks. I got a cool game. This is like from Sunrise Records, but I bought a Game of Thrones two record, 2 disc, whatever thing, like printing, and they're the White Walker edition. So instead of black vinyl, they're on white. Super cool. So yeah, we got that. We got Grease, Dean Martin. We got Conway Twitty, Reba, Nazareth, Motley Crue. A lot of bands from like the 70s or 60s or whatever it is. And like that, like I don't know. Maybe a lot of people or some people don't know. Some of them I definitely didn't know. But it's cool to like sit down and listen to these records and think about like the journey that they've taken. Like a lot of these were printed in like I have some that are like original pressings from the 60s or the 70s or whatever. And then like they take this fucking journey to like end up with me. You know what I mean? And I just think about how like there's probably some people, whether they were teenagers or what, listen to this, like got this record and we're just listening to it and like maybe that's what inspired them to pursue music or whatever it was. And it's just I don't know, it's a cool thought and cool journey to like take, you know what I mean? So yeah, been listening to a lot of records lately. What else has been going on? I don't know. I feel like so much but so little at the same time. Lots of books. I'm so mad. So I should have talked about this before, but the last live stream I did got flagged because I showed my Doc Holliday replica like pistol from Tombstone and it was a cap gun. I stated that, I showed that, everything. And then like it cut off abruptly. It was interesting because I was already signing off, and then it cuts off abruptly, and basically it says like it was reported for firearms. So I submitted an appeal, everything, and with it like less than an hour later, it was like, nope, still there's a gun in there. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, it makes no sense. You have channels that are absolutely dedicated to guns, and I do one live stream showing and stating that it was not a real firearm whatsoever, and it gets reported, flagged, and pulled down. So that was cool. But either way, back to the books. Yeah, I love reading. I got a bunch more Joe Nesbo. And honestly, if you're into crime thriller stories, definitely recommend some Joe Nesbo. Also, Lars Kepler. What other books? I feel like I get too many books, to be honest. Oh, yesterday I watched a movie that I was really excited about called The Bike Riders. And I know people laugh about the name. So, excuse me, what we know now as bikers in like the really like from the 40s, 50s, 60s, before the term bikers was a thing, you were called a bike rider. Like that was what it was. You know what I mean? And it was cool. So the Bike Riders movie was based, or at least inspired, by Danny Leon's book and photography like thing that he did with the original, or not, well, I guess not original, but like a charter of the Outlaws Motorcycle Club. And it was cool the way they did it because they have Danny there, and they kind of use like these interviews with certain people as a way to move the story along. And yeah, I thought it was great. Austin Butler, this is like only the second thing I've seen him in other than Dune Part 2. He was great as Benny, who you can find pictures of. Like Benny, his real name was Benny Bauer, and his lady Kathy was actually a real person as well. A few of the people in the movie were real people in the Outlaws, but in the movie they call them the Vandals. Very quickly, when you do a movie about historical stuff like this, you have to change something about it because then you can tell a more authentic story. It's the same reason why in the 8 Mile movie Eminem goes by Jimmy Smith Jr. I'm pretty sure it's Jr. But either way, Jimmy Smith, because then you can't get sued. It's a fictional story. You know what I mean? Even though when Eminem was coming up in Detroit, there actually was a group called Freeders, Leaders of the Free World and everything like that. It's the same with this movie. Instead of the Outlaws, it's the Vandals. And you can include these stories from Danny's book and these characters like Zipko, who's played by Michael Shannon, Funny Sonny, who's played by Norman Reedus. But no, it was good. Honestly, and Tom Hardy, like I'm a huge Tom Hardy fan as it is. Like, I don't want to, I don't want to be one of those people that's like, fucking Marlon Brando shit. Like, that's the level he hits in this movie. But, like, it's good. He's really, really good in this movie. And now, I hope now that, like, the Venom movies are done and stuff, we finally get some word on this upcoming Lazarus show based off of the Lars Kepler books. He's supposed to be playing the serial killer Ulrich Walter from those books. And yeah, it's interesting because the show is apparently called Lazarus, but it technically is the plot of the book Sandman, and then maybe we'll get a time jump into the Lazarus events. I don't know. Who knows? And then yeah, so that was a super dope movie. Go check that out. If it's in theaters around you, go see it. If not, you can get it at home. It's out for like rent and all that other stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe that's it. I just felt like going live, yapping my face off for a little bit. And yeah, I don't know. It's been a weird couple of weeks. Like getting sick, which I like never get sick in the first place. Um, Kind of throwing plans off for the channel in a way, and then just kind of like other stuff. You know what I mean? That I don't like. I don't know. I don't really. I could talk about it on the channel, but I don't want to. And I guess that's weird to say, even though I just mentioned it. It's just, I don't know, some like weird, just like other personal shit. Nothing super bad or anything. It's just, yeah, life happens. You know what I mean? But yeah. So I guess, I don't know. I guess I'll get out of here. And we'll see. We'll see if I even keep this live stream up on the channel. So yeah. All right. Mucho love, fine hooligans. Always remember, you are loved. You are enough in this world. I promise you that. Anything you're going through, other people have gone through, or they're going through it. So don't be afraid to reach out and everything. You know, you're not ever truly alone in what you're going through. Stay undefeated against the bad days. I say it, and I mean it. So, also, can't believe I almost forgot that. All my quiet kids, freaks, and weirdos, for the love of everybody, keep being weird. I appreciate you.